everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my reading reflections for the month of September 2023. So this is basically my end of month wrap up. It's just a summary of all of the things that I have read, and then I will give you some soft stats, and then at the end I will share with you just some really short thoughts on my highest and lowest rated reads of the month. So we're going to start off with me showing you everything that I read during the month. As always, if you are interested in hearing my thoughts on anything that I'm about to show you, you can check out my Disa's 19 Diaries or the Monochrome Manga Club series First Impressions videos, which I have linked down in the description box below. In the description box of each of those videos, you will see a list of all of the books or manga that I am talking about in that episode. So if you're only looking for specific titles, you will find them in the description box of those videos. Also, I usually do my thoughts on the books that I have read at the very beginning part of the video. So just scroll through the video and you will see pictures of each book as I talk about them, so you'll know where I'm talking about each book. So let's get this video started. So as I mentioned, we will start off with me letting you know all of the books that I have read in the month of September. So in no particular order, I have The Secret History by Donna Tartt, Guilty Pleasures, which is the first book in the Anita Blake series by Laurell K. Hamilton, Full Metal Alchemist, volumes 10, 11, and 12 by Hiromu Arakawa. This one's published by Viz, rated teen, so we read this as part of the Monochrome Manga Club. My Happy Marriage, volume 4 in the light novel by Akumi Agitogi. This is published by Yen On, rated teen. Manner of Death. This has art by Yukari Umemoto and original story by Samon. This is published by Yen Press, rated older teen. Volumes 5 and 6 of Persona 4 by Shuji Sogabe and Atlas, published by Udon Entertainment, and I would say this is also older teen. We read that for the Monochrome Manga Club as we are doing a series read of Persona 4. Volume 1 of The Summer Hikaru Died by Moku Mokuren. This is published by Yen Press, rated teen. And then rounding out the Monochrome Manga Club selections, we read Volume 1 of Twisted Wonderland, the manga, Books of Heart's Labile. This is original concept by Yana Toboso, storyboards by Wakana Hazuki, and art by Sumire Kono. This one's published by Viz, rated teen. Game Between the Suits, Volumes 3 and 4 by Mai Nishikata. These are published by Steamship, which is an imprint of Seven Seas, and these are rated older teen, 17 plus, and there is explicit content warnings on this one. I read Fence, Volume 1. This is a comic bind-up by C.S. Pacat, Joanna the Mad, and Joanna La Fuente. One of Us is Lying, which is the first book in the One of Us is Lying series by Karen M. McManus. I'm not sure if that's a series or a trilogy. And Long Road to Mercy, which is the first book in the Atlee Pine series by David Baldacci. So that is everything that I had read in the month of September. September was definitely a slower reading month for me. I don't know if it's just because I was so coming off of that high of reading so much the months before, because we had several months where I was participating in readathons where I was reading a ton of stuff. The Manga Pride readathon, the Aurelium Magical readathon, the 801 Boys Love Festival readathon, and I just don't know if some of the things that I had attempted to read during the month were just so much slower paced, or it was just not grabbing me. But I just kind of really took my time reading things in the month of September, which is not a bad thing. I still feel like I got through, a lot. 14 things during the month is not a small thing to disregard. I still think that's a lot. It's just not a lot compared to previous months that I have had this year. So yeah, I mean, I don't I don't feel negatively towards the fact that I read less. In fact, I probably needed it considering all of the readathons that I'm trying to participate in the month of October. But yeah, I didn't have any 5-star rated reads at all in the month, so that's not like unusual for me, I guess, but I feel like this year I've been giving a lot more 5 stars just because I've been reading a lot more series that I'm really enjoying as far as manga goes. This past month was just not one of those months where I'd read one of those, and so I have no 5-star ratings. So that being said, let's get into some of the soft stats I have for you for the month of September. So, like I said, no 5 stars. So I had 10 4-star reads and 3 3-star reads, and I DNF'd one thing. So pretty much mostly above average reads, stuff that I would read again in the future, but not like a spectacular read, and then I had a DNF. So it is what it is, but I'm glad that I did go ahead and DNF that one DNF, because I think if I had tried to continue to read that book, it would have definitely held me up longer than it already did during the month. And considering that I had read that one DNF early in the month, I think that's probably a good indicator of what set off my tone of reading for the month, because that kind of really put me in the funk of just, not really knowing what I'm going to want to read after that. And yeah, so that was kind of unfortunate, but let's get into more stats. So compared to August, I read 14 things in September compared to 24 things in August. 3,264 pages in September as opposed to 6,061 pages. 8 volumes of manga as opposed to 16 volumes. 4 novels as opposed to 8. 1 light novel as opposed to 0. And 1 comic, which is not something that I usually read. I read a lot of manga, Japanese comics, manhwa, Korean comics, but I don't read a lot of American comics, and that's kind of new for me. So that was interesting. I combo read 2 things during the month, which means I read part of a book either physically or on an ebook, and then I listened to part of it via audiobook. The 2 audiobooks that I listened to were borrowed from the library. 2 of the books I read were also borrowed from the library via ebook. The 1 comic I read was borrowed from the library. 11 of the things I read I owned, which brings me to 165 total things read in 2023. And of that number, 49 of those things were novels. So as you know, if you've watched any of these videos from me before, I do have a sub goal of reading 52 novels in the year. So I'm definitely on track to hit that or exceed that in the next, I would say, month, I would think. I think I should hit that 52 novel mark by the end of October. So I am feeling really, really good about that number. And yeah, I'm still reading a lot of the things, a majority of the things that I read in the month are coming out of things I actually own, which is great. I'm, utilizing my library again, which is great. But overall, the number is definitely down from August, which is fine. Because like I said, I feel like I really needed that to kind of rejuvenate me for what I am planning in October. Now, as far as readathons go, I did participate in the Season-a-thon Academy readathon that was hosted by my friend Amy at A-Star Reads. It was created by Completely Melanie, who also hosted, and I believe the other host was Drew's Reading Adventures. for this round of Season-a-thon Academy. I really enjoyed Season-a-thon Academy. I completed all of my classes, so that was great. And so yeah, I did feel like I enjoyed my reading over the month of September, and like I said, a majority of my reads were 4-star reads, which for me means that I would reread those in the future. So that's great. Now, as far as my highest and lowest rated reads of the month, let's start off with the lowest rated read of the month, which actually was something that didn't actually get a rating. So we're going to go with my DNF, which was Donna Tartt's The Secret History. You can see, I left the bookmark in. I got to chapter 3, page 94, which was, I believe it was like 26% into this book. This was just not for me. It was pretty boring, if I have to use a term to describe what I thought of this book. It was boring. I think that the way that this story is laid out is definitely what contributed to me not feeling a drive to complete this book, because the prologue of this book tells you that somebody's been murdered. It tells you that these students were there at the site of the crime, but you don't know why or how the student was murdered. So then the very first chapter of this book introduces you to one of the characters. He's going to college and he wants to get into this Greek department, but it's a very elite program and the professor is very picky about his students, and it kind of follows you watching this student get into the good graces of the professor and into the program, and introducing you to the rest of the students that are in this program. But it's very like day to day, it's very contemporary, which is not something that I'm really into as far as reading goes. And not much happens in the first 90 some odd pages. I mean, there's nothing that drew me to any of the characters. I wasn't interested in anything that was going on. I wasn't interested in any of the characters. And it was just really, really boring. It took a lot of time for me to even get to page 94. And so, yeah, this one just isn't for me. I will say that if I had the audiobook, I probably would have gone even further, but I probably still would have DNF'd this book because nothing about it was interesting for me. And so I'm just going to let this one go by the wayside and say that I'm glad that I tried it and knew for sure that this wasn't for me, but it's just not one for me. So that's that one. As for my highest rated read, I would say of the 4 stars, I probably enjoyed this one the most. So this is My Happy Marriage, Volume 4 in the light novel edition by Akemi Agitogi. This wasn't even on my radar to read in the month of September, but I have been watching the My Happy Marriage anime over the last month and really enjoyed it. If you're interested to know, the My Happy Marriage anime covers the first 2 light novels. So I have had this on my shelf waiting for me to get to it for a while. And I just said, you know what? It's the end of the month. I finally finished everything that I was reading. I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one up. And I'm so glad that I did. This series starts off as a Cinderella retelling where we have our character here, Mio, who is the Cinderella character. And it really is very close to Cinderella, where she's working as a servant to her stepmother, and her stepsister is not very nice to her. The difference is her father is still alive, but he pays no attention to how she's treated or her at all. And her father ends up arranging a marriage for her to this man, Kyoka. He is a commander in a special unit of the military that handles evil spirits. So there is a supernatural element to this world, and all of the people in his unit have special abilities to be able to handle these spirits. But Kyoka also has a pretty bad reputation when it comes to fiancés. So he has been arranged in marriages several times before, and all of his fiancés have fled from him because he is not a very personable guy. I mean, he is kind of very cold. He's very cold, he's very straight to the point, and he's kind of gruff. So when Mio gets arranged to be married to him, she ends up going to go live with him, and it's kind of her first taste of freedom. And this story just kind of follows them getting to know each other, eventually falling in love with each other, and dealing with different mysteries in each novel. So, like I said, the first volume is very much the Cinderella story, and from there it steps away. So there are mysteries in each installment, and their romance is very wholesome. They do still have communication issues up to this point, but you can see growth in Mio. She is learning to be more confident. She's learning how to communicate and say how she feels or say what she wants. But it's, taking her a little bit of time. And Kyoka also is not very straightforward with his feelings. And so they're learning with each other to communicate and things like that. And it's very sweet. But the communication issues do weigh on me a bit. But it's not enough for me not to enjoy their relationship or what's happening in this world, or the investigation of the mysterious things that are going on. And I'm just really, really enjoying this couple and this series. And so I definitely enjoyed this one probably the most of everything that I read during the month. So I'm looking forward to continuing with that one and seeing what happens in the next installment. And that is pretty much everything that I have for you for this video. So like I said, if you're interested in hearing my thoughts on anything else that I read during the month, definitely check out the videos that are linked down in the description box below, because I do talk more extensively about my thoughts on the things that I have read, including the 2 things that I spotlighted here in this video in my Desus 19 diaries for the month. So that, like I said, is everything I have for you for this video. Let me know down in the comments below what readathons you participated in September, what your reading stats look like for the month, and what your highest and lowest rated reads for the month were. I would really love to know. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me a sakura or any kind of flower emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.